Hey everybody, today we're going to be doing a video on a 600 motorcycle. We're going to be showing you how to ride a 600 motorcycle for the very first time. And this is not a motorcycle that most people start off on. But if you do decide to start off on a motorcycle, a 600 is very debatable. Some people say you should not start on a 600. Some people say you should. I happen to be in the category of you should start on a 600 if you can meet a few qualifications. So let's go through that. We're going to be getting on the motorcycle and we're going to be taking it on the freeway and some twisties and some high-speed roads, and I'm going to be talking to you about how to ride a 600 motorcycle for the very first time. Now, as you know, on the left-hand side, if you're not new to riding, you know that this is all about shifting. This is the clutch lever here, and then this is the shifting lever here, the little peg. So take a look at my hand here. The pinky, let's say, is first gear, and then you have neutral right here, and then you have second gear right here. So first, neutral, second gear, third gear, and it goes all the way up to 6 gears. So it's like a ladder. You start off in first, then if you slightly kick up from first, you'll be in neutral. And if you kick up all the way from first, you'll feel metalled. You'll feel your foot hit metal, and you're in second. Let's go over here. Now we're sporting the D&D exhaust from our good friends from Fort Worth, Texas. We'll give it a few revs before we start. This thing here is great. You could charge your battery up. You have a cable that's like a little drip charger thing, and you can plug it into your garage and it keeps your battery charged, and this cable leads inside to the battery so you don't have to lift the seat. This is a carbureted motorcycle. It's a 600cc motorcycle. It has pretty good power, so we're going to be talking about that. But before we hop on the motorcycle and start riding, this is the front brake, this is the rear brake here. So now let us get on and position the camera here. We're using a Kodak V570. I like that camera better because it has image stabilizations, so it keeps everything very smooth. You'll notice it's not real shaky. So we turn the key on. This is the kill switch. You want to make sure you get in the habit of turning that off and on. On this bike, you have to pull the clutch back and then start it here. And you can hear the motorcycle come to life. Give it a few revs. And we're off. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be going on the freeway. And I'm going to be talking to you about that. And then we'll get off onto some twisties, some little twisty roads here. Let's make sure that the kickstand is up. Big mistake everyone always makes. Notice the kickstand's still down. First thing you want to do when you get on, make sure that kickstand is up. Okay, now, if this is your first time riding a 600, I'm going to tell you something. First gear and second gear are the most challenging. You do not want to just pop the clutch on a 600. You know, you can lurch out into traffic and all type of bad things happen. So watch, clutch in. We're going to kick down here with my foot. We're in first. And for heaven's sake, keep the clutch lever in. Slowly release it. Do not give it a lot of throttle, especially if you're new. Clutch lever back in. I'm kind of have both my feet down here as I'm braking, and now we're going to go out onto the freeway, releasing the clutch lever. I'm not really giving it any throttle now. We're going downhill. Now we're still in first, giving it some throttle. Notice it does have a lot of get up and go, so you have to be very easy on the throttle. I'm just kind of doing it that way because I don't want to miss this light. So now watch, clutch lever in, slightly down from second. Can you see that neutral light right there? See it? If you're in second, and remember my fingers I was showing you, and you slightly kick down from second, you will be in neutral. So The 600 really is designed for freeway riding. And that's the thing, if you have a 250 or whatever, and you're going to be doing freeway riding, great, it'll do it. But you always seem like you're on the top end of your power band. Here, you're like on the middle range of your power band. So one of the wonderful things about 600s is the power. So let me give you my opinion on should you start on a 600. Well, I think I would have been okay starting on a 600 even though I started on a 250. Very quickly I was sick of the 250, and speaking of 250, I think there's a guy coming up on our right here. But he's on a Yamaha, so it's not a 250. So he's going to be getting on the freeway. I'll see if I can, well, who knows if he is. No, he's going straight. So should you start on a 600? Well, there's a big debate about this, and I would say in some instances you should not, and in some instances you should not. So I'm going to go through the type of people, hopefully I don't offend anybody, the type of people that ride motorcycles, and if you're in category A, okay, maybe starting on a 600 is good for you. If you're in category B, you probably shouldn't. And for some reason it reminds me of that, you might be a redneck if. No, so anyways, you might be a category A, which means it's safe to ride on a 600, if you value your life. If you don't value your life, you're in category B, please do not start on a 600. Now, if you do not take any drugs, or you don't have any problem with, you're not addicted to alcohol or whatever, then yes, you might fall into category A where you can qualify to ride a 600. If you have a drinking issue, and I don't mean where you're thirsty and you drink and the issue goes away. I mean if you have an alcohol drinking issue or drugs, or you take even prescription medication, I don't even think you should be on a motorcycle at all. But you definitely should not be on a 600. If you have a respect for power and the power of the motorcycle, and you know not to be doing stupid things, then yes, you'd be in category A. I would say get a 600. If you like to do stupid things and stunts, and not that that's stupid, I mean there's a place for that, that's what's fun about motorcycles, but if you're new and you're doing all this stuff, no, I think you're in category B. You should not do this. Now we're going to turn left here. I'm in second gear. Now I just kind of want to show you, on a 250 it doesn't really have as much power, and it redlines very fast, but notice we're at 7 grand and I'm already going 60. And let me just show you something. The thing just keeps pulling and pulling and pulling. Now what's, let me go up to 6. What's awesome about it is it does give you this epic rush. And so a lot of people, they just keep pushing the envelope, and they're not crashing, so they get tempted to push the envelope some more. Let's get over here. And that's where they mess up. And California is one of the states where you can go in the carpool lane, which is why I'm here in the carpool lane. So for heaven's sake, if you're going to be getting on it, you know, real fast and everything, and you don't want to be more on the safe side, don't do anything where there's cars around if you just can't help yourself. You've seen these guys that weave in and out of traffic, and not a good thing. I lane split. You know how you can go down the middle of the lane? I'm going to be getting off of here pretty soon. In California, it's one of the few, if not only, states where I could lane split right between two vehicles. I'm pointing like this, and the guy in the left the car gave me the peace sign. Now, just to show you something, notice we're at $7 grand on the tach, and it redlines, starts to redline at 11,000. So, should you start on the 600? Well, here's what's wonderful about it. If you're on the freeway, and let's say you're my brother or my sister, would I rather you be on the freeway on a 600 or a 250? On the freeway, you're safer on a 600. Totally safer. Notice I still have more room on the high end. If I need to accelerate, if someone's coming up behind me real fast, I could just, you know, pull the throttle back and I have power on tab. You don't really have that on a 250. A 250 requires you to downshift and really force it to get some RPM. Now, on this bike's all about comfort, and let me downshift here because this guy's braking around the corner. This bike is very comfortable. I probably should have showed you the seat, but you can see in the start of the video, very comfortable, but it is not, it doesn't handle very well around the corners, but we're going to still take it in the corners. I mean, look at this, I'm practically scraping the pegs because this is a very heavy bike. Very, very heavy. So let me downshift here because we're... So, what else can I tell you? So if you're going to be just riding around the streets mostly, then yeah, it is safer to get a 250. But look at the long stretches of freeways. I had a 250, guys, so let's see if this dude waves at us here. I had a 250, he did, and they're wonderful bikes, but you feel like you walk there if you're taking long trips. Okay, I'm being honest, I'm not putting 250s down. I started off on a 250 because everyone was saying start off on a 250. I quickly got rid of the 250 because I needed something with power on the mean, unforgiving, evil streets, freeways, highways of California. Kick down the first, watch. On this bike, watch. Kick up the second. I'm at 4,000 RPMs, kick up the third. We're going to be getting into some mountainous ranges here. Clutch in, kick up to fourth. Bike has 6 gears. So check it out. We're at 4 grand going 40. Now we'll get on a little bit. Clutch in, kick up. Watch this. I'm going to go all the way up to 6. Clutch in. I'm up to 6 gear. We're at 50 miles per hour, cruising 4 grand, so it says. So there are 600s that are very, very light, like the R6 is very light. I don't think you should start off on an R6. It's like a racing bike. If you're a taller person, this is a great bike because it's a heavier bike and you're able to have some weight underneath you. If you're in a very windy area, this is a great motorcycle for that. So we're coming up to some little curves and stuff, and see if I can show you some counter steering. Now, counter steering is where you basically turn your handlebars the opposite way you want to go. So we're going to have a corner up here to the right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull towards me on the left handlebar, and that's going to, let me hit these bumps. That's going to lean it, let me get out of these bumps, to the right. So watch. See how I'm pulling back, and it's leaning it to the right. This bike, you really have to counter steer a lot because it's so heavy. It does not want to work with you in the corners. If you click below this video, you'll see me test driving a Ninja 250. That one is very maneuverable. Why is this guy braking? Is he scared about something? Why is he braking? So we're going to pass this dude on the slotted line. Here comes a bunch of motorcycles here. Because where I'm going, it's all twisties, like, so a lot of motorcycle riders like this. So I'm really doing counter steering here, pulling back towards me on the left here. Very heavy bike, very tough to control, not good for these mountainous areas, but great for straightaway long distance riding where power is needed. So after we get around these guys, we'll have a little twisties and stuff. Also, on a 600, this one, it doesn't brake very fast. Like, you know, the bike's very heavy. So when I brake, I'm using both front and rear brakes. Some bikes are so light, you can just use like one of the brakes, you know, even on really hard stops. So I can't get around here because there's cars here, and in front of this guy there's like 2 cars, 2 or 3. But the pluses of the 600, you always have enough power. It's well more than enough power than you need, even for your long distance freeway riding. We're almost at the stop sign up here, and then we're going to take it around some corners. So this bike is not a good bike for these corners, and I mean, it'll do it, but you got to force it into the corner. But it's a wonderful bike for riding long distance, as I mentioned. Alright, so coming to a stop. So check this out. Clutch in, kick down to 5th. I'm starting to brake slowly here. Clutch in, kick down to 4th while I'm braking with the front and the rear brake down there by my right foot. Clutch in, I'm keeping the clutch in, I'm kicking all the way down until I hit the neutral light. See it? I got the neutral light. And I'm definitely going to have to pass this guy in front of me because foot's not down yet, and now I'm going. So I'm in 2nd, watch clutch in 3rd, clutch in 4th, and release. So you pull the clutch in, you kick into the gear you want, and then you slowly release the clutch. You don't want to get in the habit of just popping the clutch because you can flip the motorcycle over you or have it lunge out into traffic. You want to slowly release that clutch lever. Now here we're doing some counter steering. I'm pulling back towards me here. See how the bike's leaning. So if you live in an area like this, 250 is awesome. Kawasaki Ninja 250R, get that. That's a wonderful bike for this type of riding, because these people aren't getting up there at 80, 90 miles per hour. Although the Ninja 250 will do that speed. But this here, excellent for a 250. Click below this video, I'll put the link there when we show you how we take this route on the 250. And it's, why is everyone stopped here? I see they want to go right because of the train. So everyone's going around. I don't dare. Wait a minute, is he gonna let me go? Let's see. Awesome. So here we go. Watch, I'm braking, I'm not putting my foot down, just balancing a bit, and then I'm going. Okay, so let those cars pick up a bit, and we're going to get on some throttle here. You ready? Alright. So we're in 2nd, 3rd, clutch in, kick up to 4th, clutch in, kick up to 5th. Now this is one of those corners, look at the sign here on the right, where you really got to counter steer. Pulling back towards me here, towards my chest with the left handlebar. Now I'm going to pull back towards me on the right. Another one pulling back towards me on the right. Pulling back towards me on the left. You're even going to counter steer just a little bit on the Ninja 250s because they're so light. You don't want it on that bike. I'm so used to mine. I was test driving it. When I went to counter steer, I almost went off to in the dirt because you don't have to counter steer that much on a Ninja 250. All right, another stop sign. So what are we going to do? We're slowly braking, pulling the clutch in, kick down, release. Clutch in, kick down, release while I'm braking, clutch in. I'm going to tap down a few. Notice I'm in neutral. See if I can do this. I'll putting my foot down here. In first. And here we go. Now when you're braking, let me just tell you something on braking. See all the oranges? You're going to squeeze like an orange when you're braking. So what you're going to do when you're braking, there's someone behind me, but you're going to squeeze just like that with your right hand, like you're squeezing an orange. Don't go like that with the brake. I'm trying to get some distance in front of me so I can pick up speed. Okay, here we go. A lot of counter steering there. Kind of a sharp corner. Tremendous amount of counter steering there on that one. So this is where you could get yourself in trouble on a 600, really any motorcycle, but the 600, check out that sign. Motorcycle riders love that sign. But on a 600, it's so much easier to mess up because just a little flick of the wrist can accelerate the bike a lot faster. Another thing too, when you're coming up to these corners, sometimes these car drivers will cut corners into your lane, so you really got to be careful on that. Right here I can see out in the open that they're not doing it, but sometimes you're going around a blind corner. It's really good to stay in the middle of the lane around a blind corner if you can, because they cut it towards the middle there, and you might see them coming right into your lane. I've noticed that a few times. All right, so we're actually in 6th gear. What we're going to do here, we're not braking, we're slowing down. I'm going to downshift to 4th because we have a corner here where it's very unusual. Downshift to 5th, I should say. Notice it's like a corner with the railroad tracks. It's kind of weird, like they would have it like that. And they always get airborne right there. Alright, so we're in 5th, kicked up to 6th. So you guys get the idea on the counter steering. You see what I'm saying right there, how I'm taking the corner and someone can be on the left right there. I mean, I looked ahead, I could see no one was there. But like this guy. You see? Now I'm going to downshift to 5th. Hit my head on this wooden pole as I go around. So what I would suggest doing is click below this video when it's done. We take the same exact route. Look at this guy. See what I mean? He's like flying around that corner. We take the same exact route, but we're on a Ninja 250. And one of the things you're going to notice, I can't stay really in 6th gear going around these corners. The bike starts getting bogged down if I'm going too slow. But on a Ninja 250, like in other words, on this bike, I'd have to downshift to a lower gear. I take this corner here, which is like a 15 mile per hour corner, but look, it's almost like a dead stop, and then it just turns. I take that one in 6th gear on the Ninja 250. So Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Click below, I'm used to shifting. Click below or kick below this video and check out the same route we take with the new Ninja 250R and see which one you think would best suit your needs. So we're going to pull over here real quick and we're going to wrap up, summarize the video so you get it. If you are on freeways a lot, I am concerned with you just having like a 250 or something. If you are a crazy person, if you're a Hillary Clinton voter, that don't get a 600 if you're a Hillary Clinton voter or Bernie Sanders supporter. So if you're a crazy person, don't get a 600. Please don't get a motorcycle at all. Let's get up here real quick. Okay, so if you're looking for a motorcycle where you're going to go long distances straight, 600, okay? You're going to need the power. It's safer on the freeway. And I'm going to tell you, like one guy told me when I bought my first 600, okay? He said, look, there's no difference. It's just mostly on the starting, when your first, second gear, and the top end. And it was true what he said. In other words, if I'm going right now 30, what's the difference between me going 30 on a 250 or a 30 going on a 600? There's no difference. But when I'm taking off on a 600, it's got a lot more power and it's a little more challenging to get it going compared to the 250, which is more forgiving. You don't want to just give it all this throttle when you're taking off on a 600. You've seen the YouTube videos where the guy flips the motorcycle over his head or whatever. And then on the top end, and what we mean by that is, hold on, let me go over here, is when you're on the freeway, it's not in red line. You know, you have so much more distance between where you're at on the RPMs and red line. But on a 250, you're right next to red line, unless, you know, unless you're somewhere like in New York where it's bumper to bumper and you never can get the thing over 40 miles per hour. But over here in California, they'll go 80, 90. And the Ninja 250 taps out at around 90 to 100, depending on your weight and whatnot. So thanks for watching, guys. Now, you've seen the 600, you've seen what they do. Click below this video, and we take the same route on the 250. You're going to notice the 250 much more maneuverable. And I will say I have more fun on this bike on the freeways, but when I test drove the 250, I had more fun on the twisty because it was so light and agile. You'll see what I mean when you test drive.